Welcome. How are you? Oh, so good to see so many of you. And we are also live on Facebook as well, which is very, very exciting. Great. It's 7 o'clock. Let's get started because I'm so excited to bring you this workshop. So just to introduce myself, I'm Jenna O'Keefe. I'm a confidence and mindset coach. I'm the founder of the Positivity Project, and I am on a mission to help women globally unearth their limiting beliefs and step into their power. I'm going to share my screen with you because this is an jam-packed workshop. So hopefully, I'm going to try and keep an eye on the chat as well, but hopefully you can see that. So few little things just to get started. Those of you on the Zoom invitation, if you feel comfortable enough to, please pop your video on. I would love to see your beautiful faces. It gets very lonely up here. Thank you, Sophia. It gets very lonely up here, so it's lovely to see you. Okay, great. So I've already introduced myself. Just to let you know, there's my Instagram handle there if you did want to follow me, and if you've got any questions after the session, of course. But before we get started, I want to check that you're in the right workshop. This is really important. So I've got a little warm-up exercise for us. So what I want you to do, I want you to take both your hands and I want you to look at your kind of fingers in front of you. So you've got your palms facing away from you. And I'm going to read you 10 statements. And for every statement that resonates with you, I want you to lose a finger so we can just double check whether you're in the right workshop or not. Okay. So statement number 1, my inner critic is loud and hurtful. My inner critic has stopped me from fully believing in myself. My inner critic has stopped me from saying yes to opportunities. My inner critic has told me that I'm not good enough. I often scroll on social media and compare myself to others. I often seek validation from the people around me. I often speak negatively about myself when I see myself in photos. Absolutely guilty of that. I often worry what people will think of me. I struggle with perfectionism and I worry that my work isn't good enough. I struggle to switch off from my inner critic. So let me see if I can, if you could write in the chat box for me, for those of you that are on the Zoom, how many fingers have you got holding, are you holding up? Look. I'm gonna stop the share so I can have a look at the chat. Okay, amazing. So Victoria, you have 2 fingers. Yeah. Artie 2, Sarah 2, Stephanie, I don't have any fingers left. I was exactly the same when I did this. Absolutely. Okay, great. So congratulations, ladies. You are all in the right place. So this workshop is, and it's just an incredible workshop that I ran actually with my audience in September, and it's called Break Up With Your Inner Critic and Step Into Your Power. And with those statements, no, I'm not psychic. I'm not in your head. They're not pulled from a self-help book. This is all pulled from my own experience. 18 months ago, I was working in an advertising agency, and I had an absolute confidence crisis. I was saying yes to everybody externally, but constantly saying no to myself. And, you know, I was constantly trying to impress every single person that I met. Like, it was so important for me for everybody to like me. And it was just overwhelming. I was constantly seeking validation from, you know, like my boss, my family, my friends, shit men on Tinder. It was just constant and overwhelming. And, you know, I used to say things to myself like, I'm not creative. I don't have ideas. Nobody cares what I have to say. Nobody wants to listen to what I have to say. And when I think back to that, you know, it's painful. It hurts. I was bullying myself. I would never, ever, ever dream of saying anything like that to anyone else. But yeah, I was saying those things to myself. And it was when I burnt out, when my body said no more, that's when I knew I had to make the change. And so I started working on my mindset and I started breaking up with my inner critic. And the transformation for me has been incredible in terms of my energy, in terms of the things that I've manifested into my life, in terms of starting this business so that I can now go on and share this wisdom and this knowledge to, it's like a ripple effect. So I fully believe that now I'm kind of put on this planet to share this with other women like me. Artie, yes, I sought validation in my career. And then when that wasn't going so well, no matter how awesome I was doing, I had many panic attacks and it became debilitating. I had to leave. Yes, absolutely. And Artie, you're definitely not alone. This is an experience that I hear kind of over and over again of, it doesn't matter how well you're doing externally. Like if anyone knew how you were feeling internally, they'd probably say like, you're crazy. Like, you know, you're amazing at what you do. But actually internally you can be having a whole different battle. And, you know, you weren't put on this planet to feel bad about yourself. You weren't put on this planet to hold yourself back or compare yourself to others or bully yourself, you know, and your inner critic does not own you. And so this is so, so important, this work. And I'm going to tell you why. So hopefully you can see an orange blob on the screen. Yeah, amazing. So this is so, so important because your thoughts, your beliefs, and your energy create your reality. So how you feel about yourself is the reality that you're going to create for yourself, which is why this is so, so important. So why should you be excited about the next 45 minutes with me? Hopefully 45 minutes. I'm going to try and keep to time, but God knows, I promise it won't be longer. So in the next 45 minutes, you're going to get clarity on the ideas of the areas of your life that you need to focus on. You'll learn about limiting beliefs and start to uncover what's keeping you stuck. You'll learn how to reframe your inner critic, and you will understand the importance of energy and keeping your vibe high. Now, I'm going to teach you my FIRES method. So this is a 5-step method to break up with your inner critic. So let's kick off. Step number one. Step number one is all about focus. So sometimes when you're in the thick of it and your inner critic is fully in the driving seat, it's hard to know where to start. It's hard to know what to do. And I can imagine that some of you watching are probably in that situation at the minute where you're like, I know I want to do something about this, but I don't know where to start. And so it's about taking that focus and zooming out, taking that bird's eye view of your life. And I've got a little exercise for you. I hope you've got a pen and a piece of paper. Because I'm going to show you how you can start pulling into focus what's going well for you and what's maybe not going so well that needs a bit more focus. So this exercise is called the Wheel of Life exercise. So I want you to take a piece of paper and I want you to redraw this circle. It's got 8 segments, and along those 8 segments, you'll see some dashes here. And with those dashes, you need 10 dashes down each line like this. You'll label each segment, just like you've got here. And then I'm going to give you 5 minutes and I want you to rank out of 10 where you are on each statement, on each segment. So 0 being not good, 10 being absolutely thriving. And you're going to get something that looks a little bit like this. So it will look a bit weird, but it's a great way to kind of make sense of it all. So I'm going to put some music on and I'm just going to time you for 5 minutes. got 1 minute left. Wonderful. Okay, so, and for anyone who wants these slides, just pop me a message and I can ping you these slides after if that's helpful, if you'd like to take this exercise away too. So I would be really, really interested to know, anyone in the chat bot, did anything come up for you that was quite surprising? Was there anything that you thought you would score highly in that perhaps you didn't? Did it highlight anything that perhaps, or an area to start with? I would be super, super interested to know. So let me know. Please pin the slides. Yeah, absolutely. I don't actually know what pin the slides means, but I'll find out and I will do that for you. I'm not very technically literate. Emily, I was higher in most areas than I first thought, but definitely need to look at personal growth, social life and hobbies. Yes, absolutely. And I think this is a great exercise for just focusing in, because it can feel really overwhelming if you're not feeling great and your inner critic is fully in that driving seat. But actually by doing this exercise, you can start to think, oh, okay, actually it is just hobbies or it is just social life, and maybe I can start to take some actionable steps in order to dial that up so you can start feeling more joy in those areas. Sophia, life is probably going better than I thought. Amazing, amazing. I love that. And you know, this is such a great exercise too, to keep kind of doing, like maybe like once a year or every 6 months, just to keep track on it, because you're doing probably better than you thought, but I bet you in 6 months' time, those scores will be even higher, which is just the best feeling ever. So being able to track that success and tracking how you're growing is just wonderful. So yeah, this is definitely one of my favorites. Okay, cool. Oh, Marianne, higher for family with who I have only recently reconnected with. Personal growth, better than I thought, and I echo the need to look at social life and hobbies and make more space for them. Yeah, absolutely, especially for us women as well. It's our natural tendency to put everybody before ourselves. So a lot of the clients that I work with score kind of on the lower side in the social life and the hobbies, because they're quite often putting children, partners, job, work, career all ahead of themselves, and actually they're kind of coming to me like I'm not feeling much joy. Which is so important. You know the phrase, fill your own cup first, and then you become this kind of wholesome, wonderful mother, colleague, boss, you know, whatever your flavor, you just become a better, kind of more wholesome person. Amazing. I'm glad you found that useful, ladies. So let's go on to step number 2. So step number 2 is all about identifying. So your inner critic can feel scary and it can kind of feel intense and painful, but actually understanding your inner critic is the gateway to identifying your limiting beliefs, which is so important for growth and for healing. So beliefs are the way that we understand our reality. And there's 2 types of beliefs that we hold about ourselves. So we have conscious beliefs, which is very much where your inner critic sits, where she kind of says, you know, no, you go to speak up in a meeting and she'll say, you know, everyone's going to think you're stupid if you say that. Or I'm sure we've all had these kind of thoughts. So that's very much in your conscious. But actually what's harder to access are the subconscious limiting beliefs that we hold about ourselves. And these are often created from a very, very young age, of 0 to 8. Quite literally when our brain is in, they call them theta years, because your brain is in a theta state and you are absorbing all of the information from your parents, your siblings, your school life, your friendship, your very early friendships that you make. And so it's quite hard to access those subconscious limiting beliefs. But actually, your inner critic is a bit of a gift, because by identifying what that inner critic is saying to you, you can start to track back and actually understand what's going on for you in your subconscious limiting beliefs. And I explain it to my clients like it's a bit like a Jenga block, and the conscious beliefs are at the top. But actually, if you kind of shine a light on those subconscious beliefs and you kind of pull those out, the rest come crumbling down. And that's when you can start to instead transform those into empowering beliefs that serve you and that feel good. So identifying what your inner critic is saying to you is really, really important. So step number 3, we're going to have some fun with this one. So step number 3 is all about reframing your inner critic. So we've got to learn not to be afraid of our inner critic. Despite what she tells you, she can't tell the future. She doesn't know what anyone else is thinking. She doesn't speak fact, although it feels like fact when you're kind of getting bullied by this inner critic that's telling you, you're a piece of shit and all this kind of stuff. But I promise you, she doesn't speak the facts. She does not tell you facts. And so actually, it's about reframing it and thinking, actually, maybe she's working hard to keep me safe. Maybe actually that's what my inner critic is doing. Maybe my inner critic is actually my inner child trying to keep me safe. So actually this reframing technique is really, really important. So perhaps we can start showing her some compassion, some love, and maybe even a bit of humor. And I'm going to introduce you to somebody. So this little monster down here is called Esme. So Esme comes everywhere with me, literally everywhere, whether I'm speaking on stage, whether I am going for a photo shoot, whether I'm doing something like this, Esme is in my pocket and she is there constantly. And I had a photo shoot the other week, and Esme decided that she did not want me to go because, I don't deserve to have a business. Nobody wants to see my pictures. I'm going to look awful in these pictures, so don't even bother. And the photographer's going to think I'm stupid and blah, blah, blah. And I simply said to Esme, like, I know you're trying to keep me safe, and I really, really appreciate that, Esme. But today we're going to go, you're going to come with me, and we might even have a little bit of fun. And so I visualized putting Esme in my pocket, and you know what? As I went to this photo shoot and I had so much fun and I felt abundant and confident and I just loved it, Esme got smaller and smaller and smaller and quieter and quieter. And I think this is this is actually an NLP technique. NLP is neuro-linguistic programming, and it works on it's based on the way that your brain is framed, and you can quite literally reframe your thoughts by turning the volume down or changing the voice or visualizing them like a funny little monster like this. So again, I'm going to give you 4 to 5 minutes, and what I want you to do is take a pen and a piece of paper, and I want you to draw your inner critic, and I want you to get really specific. So think about colors, smells, items of clothing, facial expressions, heights, gender, whatever you feel like drawing. There's no right or wrong. Get creative with it and have a little bit of fun with it. So again, I'm going to give you 5 minutes to do this. And I'd love to see some of them in 5 minutes. Okay. You've got 1 minute left. Okay, so let's come back to the room. How did everyone get on? Firstly, pop in the chat, how did you find the exercise? I'm going to put it on grid view. So, and if anyone fancies turning their camera on and showing me their monster, Sophia, you're the only one with your camera on, so I feel like you're on the spot here. Oh my gosh. I love the feet and the ears. Fantastic. Absolutely. I love that. Okay, anyone else that wants to show their inner critic, please do feel free. If not, that's absolutely fine. And let me know how you found that exercise. I think there's something so brilliant in just finding the humor in these moments, because actually, you know, it can be incredibly triggering when we are in these moments where we're speaking really harshly to ourselves. And so if you can do something to kind of turn on that humor, it stops you going down that wormhole of anxiety and of feeling really kind of bad about yourself. Kate, my 6-year-old is sitting next to me and drew a monster for me. Amazing. Yes, absolutely. And get the kids involved. Make it something, make it a kind of family activity. And actually, if you do that, like the next time that you think about your inner critic, you will think about your 6-year-old drawing that monster, and you'll it will snap your brain to another place. Which, so it sounds kind of silly, but there's psychological kind of method in my madness, which is kind of how I like to run. Which is kind of how I like to run the business. Okay, great. Well done, everyone. So that's fires. That's step number 3. So step number 4 is all about energy and energizing your body. So everything is made up of energetic particles, and your mindset and the way that you kind of think about yourself quite literally affects how your particles vibrate in your body. So if you are healthy, if you're connected, if you're kind of doing you're exercising regularly, you're feeling, you know, just those days where you're feeling good, people notice and people see it. You know, when you have the comment of you're glowing, like you look amazing, you look so confident, it's because your energy, you're vibrating at a high energy, and those particles in your body are causing all of this, and then you're in the state where you can start to magnetize all of this amazing stuff into your life. And on the kind of opposite to that, if you are feeling really low, perhaps you're ill or you've kind of eaten junk food and you're feeling quite low and depressed, that's when your energy in your body really starts to slow down, and you can see it in people. It's kind of visible. And as well with this, if you're holding on to any stagnant energy, so any stagnant feelings like shame, jealousy, resentment, all of these feelings get kind of stored in our body. And these can even show up as kind of physical manifestations. So headaches, gut pain, shoulder pain, kind of eyesight issues. So it's really, really important to keep a check on your energy. And it's not as kind of complicated as it sounds. You have to just kind of turn inwards and just check in on how you're feeling. And there are loads of ways. If you are feeling like you have trapped energy in your body and you're feeling low and you're feeling these feelings of kind of shame, resentment, jealousy, all of that, you can shift this energy. So you can do this by intuitive dance, which could just be putting on a song without words and just letting your body move to it. Putting some candles on, no judgment, not doing it in front of anyone, just feeling your body move. You can do it, you can go to a Reiki healer, which I would definitely recommend. I absolutely am in love with Reiki. You can watch tapping videos. So I don't know if you've done kind of tapping before, EFT. There's so many kind of free resources on YouTube. But it's really, really important, if you're doing all of this work to change your mindset and to break up with your inner critic, keeping your energy high is really, really important to keep you on that journey. So, step 5, the last step in the FIRES method is all about strategy. So your inner critic is years and years and years of conditioning. So breaking up with that inner critic doesn't happen by accident. You need a plan. You need a strategy. You need something to work towards. So I think we've got time now. What I'm going to do, I'm going to give you 5 minutes and I want you to take these questions to your journal. So these are a really great platform to start creating that strategy and that space to make sure that you are breaking up with your inner critic. So the first question is, who do you want to become? What does that version of yourself look like? Get really specific here. And what you'll find is as you start describing that version of yourself, you'll start to feel it as well, which is really, really important. Remember, we manifest based on feeling. Question number 2, how would this empowered, confident version of yourself think about these limiting beliefs? How would she think about what the inner critic is saying? And question number 3, what actionable steps can you take to get there? So I'm going to give you another 5 minutes. Off you go. Just one more minute now. Amazing. Okay. And I can definitely send these slides after as well, so you have these journal prompts to take back to your journal, so that you can kind of think about them some more too. So I'd really love to know, yeah, what you guys thought of that exercise. Let me know in the chat. Just gonna try and get the chat up. I'll have to stop sharing the chat. Amazing. Let's have a look. Emily, this would be useful to do on a regular basis. Yes, absolutely. It's really, really, I don't know if you journal kind of regularly, Emily, but it's been an absolute game changer for me in my kind of healing journey. So I would absolutely recommend taking these questions to your journal for sure. Artie, I love it. Question 3 was the hardest. Yes, and I mean, I gave you 5 minutes, so it's not a long time to think of your kind of strategy in terms of breaking up with your inner critic, but you definitely can get there, Artie. The answers to question number 1 is something that I would definitely say to my partner, but never say to myself, but never myself. What do you mean, Carly? Tell me a little bit more about that. Marianne, grounding and focusing. Yes, absolutely. It's so, when you give yourself this time, it's incredibly transformational in terms of just thinking about this stuff. I think we definitely, with my experience, when I worked in a creative agency, it was an incredibly busy, long hours environment. And I never ever gave myself the time to think about this stuff. And actually, I just thought it was a given that I had this horrendous inner critic that just kind of ruled my life and made me feel miserable. But actually, when you give yourself the time, you take that power back, which is so, so key. Building confidence. I love it. Okay, great. Amazing. Right, let's share this. So, hopefully you can see my screen. So I just wanted to share this slide with you just for a little bit of an inspiration, just to say you have no idea what is possible if you were to just believe in yourself. Everything that you are dreaming of, everything that you have on that vision board that you kind of deeply desire, you can have it all. 99% of the time, it's just your mindset, your inner critic holding you back. But remember, that's just your ego, your inner child, your kind of little monster, just trying to keep you safe. But actually, by talking to that inner critic and saying, thank you so much, but it is safe to be outside my comfort zone. You are safe to be outside your comfort zone and go for that life that you absolutely deserve. So I've given you a lot of information. And what I want to do, Sophia, great exercise. I have some ideas to move forward, particularly need to look at those energy zappers. Yes, Sophia, brilliant. So what I want to do, ladies, I've given you a lot of information. And actually, sometimes when you take on all of this information, the best thing to do is to sit and either meditate or do a visualization. And actually, I have prepared a gorgeous visualization for you to help cement this learning and all of these tools into your psyche. As you've probably noticed, I'm a complete psychology geek. So although this looks quite nice and fluffy, there's lots of psychology underneath it because I want this change for you. So this will take about 5 minutes, which should take us to the end, but I'm available for questions after. So what I want you to do is get yourself into a comfortable seated position. Start to take a big deep breath in. And on the exhale, close down the eyes. And just start to turn your attention inwards. Don't worry if thoughts start to come into your head. Just notice them without judgment and let them float by. We're taking this time together to completely disconnect from the past, to completely disconnect from the future, and to become completely present in the moment right now. Start to notice where in your body you might be feeling a bit of tension from your day. Perhaps in your jaw. Can you relax your cheeks, your temples, your forehead? Can you feel your shoulders sink down your back just a millimeter? Perhaps you can feel your neck extend just a millimeter. Start to feel grounded in your body. And as you settle here, I want you to imagine that you are in a safe, happy place. This may be somewhere that you've been before. It may be somewhere in your imagination. But you feel happy here, calm, peaceful. Perhaps you are by a lake in the warm summer sun, feeling the grass underneath your feet. Perhaps you're on the beach, watching the waves crash over the shore. Perhaps you're in a loved one's garden. And as you are here, you start to see a familiar figure in the distance. You start to walk towards that figure. With every inhale and exhale, you take another step. And as you move closer towards this figure, you feel even more held, calm, and relaxed. Now you are close enough to the figure to tap her on the shoulder. And as she turns around, you realize that figure is your future self. You in 10 years' time. She's smiling. She looks beautiful, radiant. You have achieved all you wanted to achieve. You've succeeded every one of your goals. You're in a happy, loving place, and you've enjoyed all of the experiences along the way. She greets you with a warm smile. What does she look like? What does she sound like? What's she wearing? What does she smell like? Your future self takes your hand and pulls you into a warm, loving embrace. And here you feel held, calm, protected and loved. She leans in and she whispers in your ear a piece of advice. What does she say? What does she tell you to do? You are abundant, confident, you're radiating light and happiness. And as you embrace, your future self absorbs into you and you become one. And you feel all of that wisdom and love entering your body. You are filled with love, warmth, and excitement about your future. Your potential is endless. You are the creator of your own life, future, and your dreams. You are absolutely magic. And together, to close this meditation, we're going to take 3 big, deep, nourishing breaths. Breathing in deeply through the nose, feeling the chest rise, and sighing it out through the mouth. And again, breathing in deeply through the nose, feeling your lungs expand, and exhaling out through the mouth. Last one, make this the deepest breath you've taken today, in through the nose and out through the mouth. Beautiful. Now wiggling your fingers, your toes, blinking open the eyes, going back to the room. Lovely. Okay, great. If you want to type how you found that in the chat box, or what your future self said to you, I find when Laura loved that. Oh, great! I'm so glad. Yes, every time I do that visualization with myself, the piece of advice is so crystal clear, and it's something that I wouldn't have ever thought of. And that was very good. I'll have to do it again. Oh, brilliant. I'm glad you liked it, Marianne. Yes, me too. Stephanie, me too. Absolutely. My future self was Dumbledore until I realized it was me in 10 years. I love that. There's always time to turn into Dumbledore, and we all love Dumbledore. Your voice is so soothing. Oh, thank you, Kathy. Oh, I really appreciate that. Awesome. Caroline, truly calmness and content. Gorgeous. Well, I'm glad. That was great. My advice was know your worth. Yes, love that. Love that. Amazing. Thank you so, so much, ladies. I only ran 5 minutes over, which is pretty good for me considering. Thank you to everyone who's logged in and watching live on Facebook. Caroline, don't add worry. Don't add worry, it just adds wrinkles. Yes, absolutely. Don't worry about what you can't control, for sure. Thank you so much. For anybody that wants to keep in touch, please do follow me on Instagram. I'm positivityproject_UK. Yes, absolute pleasure to host this workshop with you. Thank you so much, and I hope to see you again. Bye.